safely bringing value to life by exploring great books from around the world. Hello, this is Sally's Book Talk. Today we're diving into the science of taste. Eating is something we all do every day. Have you ever wondered why you like some foods but dislike others? Why do some foods that turn your stomach seem incredibly delicious to others? Actually, all this is tied to an important sense in your body. It's about taste. So, why do people have such different preferences for flavors? And how do people understand taste and try to manipulate it? The book we're discussing today, The Science of Taste, will reveal the secrets behind taste. The author, John McQuaid, an American, graduated from Yale University and is now a science journalist, is great at digging into facts and sharing the backstory and fun tales of science. In this book, he gathered numerous case studies and research findings, interviewed scientists, foodies, and chefs worldwide, and wrote a brief history of taste about the origin and evolution of human taste and our constant pursuit of flavors. Probably many people will ask why study taste. Indeed, compared to other senses, research on taste and flavor started relatively late. This is mainly because early scientists didn't think taste and flavor were important. Moreover, taste is highly subjective. People's experiences vary widely, making it hard to establish a common reference. So it's not easy to study. Thus, early taste research produced many unreliable findings. For example, there was once a popular tongue taste map abroad, dividing the tongue into different areas, each responsible for detecting a specific taste. Specifically, the tip detects sweet, the back detects bitter, and the sides near the front detect salty. And the rear parts detect sour. After World War II, this taste map was even included in American textbooks. An Austrian winery, based on this map, designed a red wine glass with a wavy rim, so the wine would sequentially contact different parts of the tongue, hoping to allow tasters to experience the rich layers of flavor. However, later research confirmed that the differences in taste detection across different tongue regions are very small. Gradually, as humans gained deeper understanding of themselves, they realized the importance of taste. For instance, in mammalian fetal brains, the area linked to mouth and tongue develops earliest in the neocortex because it's essential for survival, the most crucial sense. Similarly, besides temperature, fetuses first perceive smell and sweetness. Moreover, with advances in neuroscience and genetics, scientists can now explore taste's subtle variations using better methods and tools. Studying taste not only enhances eating experiences, but also reveals crucial clues about human and biological evolution. Thus, taste science has become a vital discipline since the 20th century. So, I'll break down the book into 4 key questions. First, what are taste characteristics? Second, how did taste evolve? Third, what are the basic tastes? And what are their features? Fourth, how do humans create new flavors? Let's start with the first question. What defines taste? First, we need to understand how the tongue perceives taste. An average tongue has 10,000 taste buds, each with 50 to 80 cells, containing different receptors for distinct flavors. Taste receptors are special proteins, part exposed to catch flavor molecules, while the rest is encased within the cell. When eating, flavor molecules enter pores on taste buds, where receptors capture them. Instant chemical reactions alter receptor structures, triggering signal transmission from tongue to brain. In under a tenth of a second, you feel sweet, delicious, or disgusting. In essence, taste is the biological system connecting flavor to body, giving it meaning. Discovering receptors was extremely difficult. Now, not until 1999 was the first taste receptor isolated. By then, all olfactory receptors had already been identified. The related genetic codes have also been deciphered. Compared to smell receptors, isolating taste receptors has 2 main challenges. They're scarce and scattered on the tongue, while smell receptors are numerous and concentrated in nasal tissue. Plus, taste receptors are about 100,000 times less sensitive than smell receptors, making them super hard to isolate. But hey, don't blame taste. It's just how evolution worked. Imagine if taste were too sensitive. Every food molecule would trigger strong sensations. Eating would feel like staring directly at the sun with your eyes. So, scarcity, dispersion, low sensitivity, that's what makes taste receptors tricky. Now, what about taste itself? First key trait, variability. Through evolutionary perspective, humans developed similar sensory ranges for communal survival, like seeing similar light wavelengths or hearing comparable sound frequencies. But taste stands out, it's wildly unique among senses. Huge differences between people. Same food, delicious to some, disgusting to others. This variation started 12,000 years ago with farming and animal domestication. Second trait, synergy with smell. Though taste works alone, smell boosts food enjoyment. Flavor combines mouth taste and nose aroma. Taste and smell are a match made in heaven, creating the full eating experience. Ever notice food tastes bland when you're stuffed up? That's why. Most mammals have a transverse lamina separating nose and mouth, blocking aromas during eating, helping animals focus on environmental smells. Perhaps it's to enhance how smell assists taste in savoring food flavors. In humans, this transverse lamina gradually disappeared during evolution, shortening the oral nasal passage to deliberately channel aromas from chewing. Through this passage, aromas reach smell receptors, and the brain automatically integrates taste and smell to form a unified perception of food. The third characteristic of taste is its subjectivity. Like other senses, humans are born with taste perception abilities. But unlike other senses, taste is deeply shaped by environment and culture, creating vast individual differences. As mentioned, taste and smell develop earliest in fetuses, so maternal preferences during pregnancy influence children's tastes. From birth to age 2 or 3, infants' neural synapses rapidly multiply beyond adult levels. During this phase, taste temporarily intermingles with vision, touch, hearing, and other senses. That's why childhood flavors evoke not just food memories, but entire childhood experiences. As we age, neural synapses gradually normalize. Children may then develop conservative palates or become adventurous flavor explorers. This taste plasticity varies unpredictably by individual and environment, neither controllable nor foreseeable. For instance, foods you once hated might become favorites years later, or the same food might taste completely different at different times. By now, you've likely realized human taste is an extraordinarily complex sensory system. So, how did taste originate biologically and evolve step by step? That's our second key question today. The author identifies 5 pivotal evolutionary moments, playfully calling them history's 5 most crucial meals. They trace taste from non existence to existence and from crude to complex. Humans discovered a 480 million year old fossil in Mexican mountains. It shows a trilobite preying on a worm like creature, arguably evolution's first documented meal. Trilobites already had primitive brains and senses, with mouths and digestive systems, but since taste and smell weren't separate yet, every meal tasted pretty much the same to them. They ate mainly to fill their bellies or satisfy primitive predatory urges. But these earliest meals laid the foundation for taste evolution. 30 million years after trilobites' first meal, jawless fish like Mylocunmingia emerged on Earth. As the earliest vertebrates, their taste and smell officially separated into distinct senses. Mylocunmingia used smell to explore the world, followed sense to carrion, then used taste to feast heartily. This became history's second significant meal. This hunting style persists in many animals today. Even humans follow sense to food. Around 250 million years ago, post-Cambrian primitive mammals coexisted with dinosaurs. Morganucodon evolved new brain structures to survive dangerous environments, helping remember companions, enemies, foraging routes, and food flavors. History's third meal linked flavor with memory, emotion, and behavioral strategies. Taste continually updated and reshaped through life experiences. Over 20 million years ago, monkeys evolved retinas detecting three primary colors. This allowed seeing a colorful world and quickly locating food sources. This marked history's fourth milestone meal. Scientists found rainforest monkeys' retinal pigments perfectly matched the light spectrum of golden leaf tree fruits. Like eyes evolved specifically to spot them. Similarly, humans salivate seeing appetizing food images because vision matches brain experiences. Our brain tells us this looks delicious, even suggesting how it might taste, like how lemon yellow colors make your mouth water involuntarily. A million years ago, Homo sapiens used fire to cook food, enabling refined living while enhancing flavor and digestibility. This is the fifth meal in history. Since then, humans have continuously improved the refinement and flavor of food. To match tastier foods, Homo sapiens evolved more complex brains that integrate taste, smell, vision, hearing, touch, and other senses into the taste response. These five milestone meals in biological evolution describe how taste evolved, from predators hunting other organisms to the separation of taste and smell, to the brain mixing multiple senses, gradually forming today's taste. Similarly, natural selection has directed the taste of different mammals in various directions. For example, dolphins and whales are only sensitive to saltiness but cannot taste sweetness, bitterness, sourness, or umami. Because they usually swallow fish whole without needing to savor them. Similarly, feline animals are insensitive to sweetness, while giant pandas cannot taste umami. So, for today's third question, let's discuss what the basic tastes are and what are their characteristics. Actually, there are only five basic tastes: sweet, sour, bitter, salty, and umami. Some scientific studies suggest that fat taste is the sixth basic taste. Each basic taste is unique, fixed, and can be identified in mixed foods. You might ask, why is spicy in the common phrase sweet, sour, bitter, spicy not a basic taste? Actually, spicy isn't a taste, it's a sensation of pain. For example, after cutting chili peppers, your hands might feel a burning pain. But if you put your hand in honey, you won't feel sweetness because spicy stimulates not taste receptors, but heat receptors, thermal nerves, and pain nerves. The author in this book focuses on the most fundamental and important two tastes. Bitterness and sweetness emerged very early, arguably the first tastes humans could perceive. Um, Not just humans, scientists have found that jellyfish, fruit flies, and even bacteria have the ability to detect bitterness. Many toxic substances in nature are bitter. For example, many plants use bitter toxins to protect themselves from being eaten. Therefore, bitterness is often associated with danger and inedibility. When the tongue encounters something bitter, it triggers corresponding pathways in the brain, producing an unpleasant sensation. People involuntarily curl their lips downward, wrinkle their noses, and stick out their tongues, almost like trying to spit something out. Many animals make similar bitter faces when tasting bitterness. This expression of disgust signals to companions that it's unpalatable and possibly toxic. This communication method is crucial for social animals collectively resisting risks. But bitterness isn't that unbearable, really. You likely have friends who enjoy bitter vegetables like bitter melon and endive, while beer lovers relish its varying bitterness. In the West, broccoli and cauliflower are classified as bitter foods, plus one most popular bitter item. Coffee, its bitterness comes from bean roasting, and people constantly refine roasting to create layered bitterness. Bitterness's importance also revealed humans' vast taste differences to scientists. In 1930, a chemist accidentally tasted PTC powder and found it intensely bitter, but his chemist colleague tasted it and detected nothing. Such stark contrast launched scientific research on taste sensitivity. Studies revealed many are taste blind, less sensitive not just to bitterness but other flavors too. So they may prefer intensely stimulating foods like bitter or spicy dishes. Roughly 1 in 4 people has taste blindness. This ratio varies regionally. For example, China and India have relatively higher rates. That's why bitter melon is common in Chinese or Indian cuisines, largely due to genetic sensitivity differences. Lit. Thus, by studying taste sensitivity patterns across regions, ethnicities, scientists can trace how climate migration shaped human genes. Besides bitterness, sweetness is the second crucial basic taste. Mentioning sweetness, sugar first comes to mind. Its photosynthesis byproduct and biological energy foundation. Sugar molecules release energy most efficiently for organisms. Thus, to hungry animals, sweetness represents pure energy. Besides humans, many other species also enjoy sweetness. Sweetness comes from sweet taste receptors on the tongue. Receptors, currently, 23 bitter taste receptors have been discovered, and there are 3 sweet taste receptors. Because tasting sweetness has a simple purpose to find sugar, unlike tasting bitterness, which is to detect various potentially toxic substances. Sweetness is the most pleasurable among the basic tastes. It stimulates certain neurons deep in the brain, producing various exciting hormones. It's because of this satisfaction that ancient doctors linked sugar with medicine. They believed sugar had special therapeutic effects, aiding digestion and helping people stay young forever. Although sugar is a simple and direct energy source, it's sparsely distributed in nature, mainly from fruits, berries, and honey. As early as 6000 BC, humans began cultivating sugarcane and continuously improved sugar-making methods. Over 2,500 years ago, India had developed sophisticated sugar-making techniques and created the earliest desserts in history. And so later, sugar and sugar-making techniques spread to every corner of the world through trade and war, with sources expanding from sugarcane to new crops like sugar beets and corn. The emergence of capitalism and the Industrial Revolution greatly boosted sugar production efficiency. Sugar slowly permeated from royal use to middle and lower class homes, sweets diversified, and it gained a dedicated spot on dining tables. Now, humans can mass produce sugar cheaply, but this brings new issues. Excessive intake may disrupt metabolism, leading to chronic health problems like obesity, diabetes, and heart disease over time. Although people increasingly recognize sugar's dangers, they can't shake their sweetness dependence, so they found substitutes that mimic sugar's taste without harming health. For example, common sweeteners like saccharin, aspartame, and others, they taste sweet, but the flavor differs from sugar. Because while they react with sweet receptors, they can't fully integrate or completely trigger the brain's pleasure response. Besides bitterness and sweetness, the other basic tastes also have corresponding taste receptors on the tongue that undergo chemical reactions. For example, saltiness has sour receptors, sourness has sour receptors, but sometimes the same food activates 2 or more types of taste receptors. For example, saltiness receptors activate when eating salt, but excessive salt triggers bitter and sour receptors, making it unpleasant. This is the body's precise salt balance mechanism. Umami, the mysterious fifth taste, is also a basic flavor. Discovered in 1907 by a Japanese chemist in kelp broth, it's called mysterious because its subtle flavor enhances other tastes and boosts deliciousness by harmonizing flavors and amplifying taste and smell. Umami, essentially, it's glutamate, a special amino acid and MSG's main component. Even without MSG, Ingredients naturally release glutamate during processing, cooking, or fermentation, creating umami. Beyond bitter, sweet, sour, salty umami, fat taste is a quasi-basic flavor. That unique pleasure when savoring sizzling, fatty, grilled meat, eyes lighting up, mouth satisfied, is fat taste at work. Lipids are vital nutrients. Metabolized fatty acids fuel cells and nourish brains. Like bitterness, fat sensitivity varies greatly. Higher sensitivity means quicker perception of greasiness. Finally, let's discuss spiciness. Though not a basic taste, it plays a huge role in daily life. Biologically, spiciness isn't taste or smell, it's burning pain, yet paradoxically pleasurable for some. Capsaicin makes chili spicy, like nicotine, caffeine, and cannabinoids. It's an alkaloid causing powerful physical and mental effects. Addiction. Anatomically, brain regions for pain and pleasure are neighbors. Pain can simultaneously trigger pleasure. Eventually, purpose. Spiciness evolved in plants for self-defense. Research shows unless absolutely necessary. Most animals avoid spicy foods, but humans differ. Spice lovers become utterly fascinated by this flavor. Chili peppers are the most popular seasoning after salt. Currently, over 4,000 chili varieties exist globally, with people even breeding hotter peppers. Compared to basic tastes, spiciness is relatively new to humans. Humans first tasted chili peppers just 12,000 years ago, and they only became popular about 500 years ago. But this shows humans always embrace new taste experiences. Let's recap part 3. 6 basic tastes correspond to 6 different taste receptors. They evolved sequentially to help identify, distinguish, and savor food, bringing satisfaction, pleasure, or excitement. As taste understanding deepens, people create better culinary experiences. Finally, let's explore how humans create flavors and master taste. To adapt to changing environments, humans tried various natural substances, constantly discovering and creating new flavors. As food processing methods diversified, new flavors and nutrients emerged, expanding taste and smell experiences. Fermentation is the best example of flavor innovation. Perhaps ancestors accidentally tasted natural fermented foods, then learned to control fermentation for delicious results. Starting with fruits, grains, and honey, it expanded to meat and milk. Combining everyday foods with microbes, a uniquely human skill, became regional cultures. Like German beer, French cheese, Japanese soy sauce, Chinese fermented tofu and vinegar. People love fermented foods because their flavors trigger joy. Post-meal happiness is our subconscious criterion for judging deliciousness. Food researchers constantly study how flavors can evoke more happiness and satisfaction, encouraging consumption. Potato chips are classic engineered happy food. Potatoes are naturally bland, but become irresistible when fried and salted. Fatty, salty, and the natural sweetness from starch, all these flavors trigger deep satisfaction. So when you bite into a chip, your brain gets happy signals from texture, taste, and aroma, making you crave more. Food innovation is going microscopic. Beyond lab-precise molecular gastronomy, scientists are now manipulating taste receptors, playing tricks on the brain. Take miracle fruit from West Africa. Its protein blocks sweet receptors, but converts acid into intense sweetness. More sourness means more sweetness. Chefs have guests coat their tongues with the protein before eating acidic fruits, transforming sourness into sweetness. This unexpected sweetness, paired with texture, creates delightful sensory surprises. While those experiments still involve food, scientists are now engineering virtual taste. Some infuse edible paper with flavor molecules that activate taste receptors. Licking it gives the illusion of real food flavors. Others use gentle electric currents on the tongue to mimic neural signals of eating, fooling the brain into tasting flavors. So far, devices can simulate sweetness, sourness, saltiness, and umami, but not bitterness yet. The goal making taste part of future virtual experiences. Taste is incredibly complex. We barely understand it, and science still can't explain many mysteries. But we believe food is life's foundation. Eating's importance drives chefs, food companies, and scientists to keep developing new methods and flavors, unlocking taste's secrets. All right, that's the science of taste. We'll wrap up here. Find reading notes below the audio. See you tomorrow.